a wise move for all of us. And I'm getting the live stream going now since it takes them a little longer. And oh, there you go. And let's see. And everything's on whenever you're ready.
Well, I showed it's 6:58, so I think we got to wait a couple.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Who's the 904-175?
That was a member of the public.
Okay. Okay, we'll call this regular meeting, the Thomaston WPCA, to order at 7 o'clock. In attendance tonight is Joe Feiner, Rich Chandon, Veronica Leduc, John Piscopo, Bert Galpin, plant manager, and myself, Tom Mueller. First item on the agenda is the minutes for the January 26th special meeting. The only comment I would have, and I don't think it needs to be corrected on this one, but in the future, if we didn't use just all abbreviations for like the pump stations, like WBPS and EAPS, probably the first time it's mentioned, we should probably say like Electric Avenue Pump Station, and then use the abbreviations after it, just for clarity. Anybody else have any comments, corrections, questions on the minutes of the January meeting?
Move we accept.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Joe Feiner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Rich Chandon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Veronica, how do you vote?
Aye.
John Piscopo, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Now I would entertain a motion to move Unimetal from old business to a head of consultant reports.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we'll do it that way on this one.
Aye.
Okay, Debbie, you want to take the ball on this one or what?
Sure. Just wanted to provide some updates. Fred and my team met on February 11th, Thursday, to review his comments and edits on the inhibition testing protocol. We are currently working on that and should have that to Fred this week. We agreed that once he's okay with it, we're going to share it with the larger group. So if not later this week, early next week. And we also owe him the nitrogen species spreadsheet. We are working on that and should have that to Fred shortly. And those are really our major updates for this week, month.
Okay, George or Pat, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, hey, Deb, are you gonna have a quick discussion about your conversation with Fred concerning 24-hour delivery of the wastewater?
Right. So he had mentioned during that call on the 11th that after giving it some additional thought, he did not think that he would recommend putting in effluent equalization.
Say that again, Deb. You would not recommend what?
Having Unimetal put in effluent equalization. So we had discussed that in our meeting when we were at the WPCA in September last year. And after he has given it some more thought, he said he did not think it was necessary or warranted.
In the final installation or in this inhibition study?
In the final design for the Unimetal, I guess it would really end up being a permit requirement. But yeah, in the upgrade for the treatment plant at Unimetal.
Yeah, so Fred could certainly change his mind at any time, but what I understand from Deb in conversation with Fred is that, you know, your flows change quite a bit in late evening, and that you might not want to be getting our stuff then. Should I say it the right way, Deb? That the bugs aren't accustomed to at that point in time.
I
However-
think it really, just has to do with the dilution factor of having it flow during the day and the higher flows to the treatment plant during the day.
So Fred had that same conversation with me the other day as well. And I know we did talk about the equalized flow in that meeting and having a consistent flow 24/7. But Fred's thought on that was we would be better off to take Unimetal's flows, if we were going to take them between, say, 7 a.m. and 9 or 10 p.m. when our flows are at their higher levels as well, as opposed to 2 o'clock in the morning when we have hardly any flow at all coming in. Because then everything coming in at 2 a.m. would be pretty much Unimetal flow. So he was looking at the concentration of the flow coming to the plant, or dilution of the concentration.
Right.
So that was
I
really a
guess
point of discussion.
I guess we can talk to Fred about that some more, but it seems to me that it would be better to have the flow equalized, but have the discharge occur during that time frame. They don't have, the equalization tank doesn't have to be emptied after 9 o'clock. It could stay there at Unimetal until 7 o'clock the next morning, and then they could begin the discharge.
Right. That's not to say we wouldn't need to still account for some effluent holding capacity if there are restrictions of when we can discharge.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess we were really just concerned with the amount. So if we were to equalize the total flow, the tankage would be larger. If we just need to hold it for a couple of hours, space-wise, it'll just be easier to accommodate.
Okay. Seems kind of reasonable. We can.
Yep.
Hash that
Okay.
out later, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, after everybody agrees on the inhibition study, how long to get everything coordinated and the samples taken?
We agreed to do it later in the week.
Yep.
And I guess I wanted to ask Bert what the plan is for phosphorus addition. Would you be starting that? Do you have a start date in mind for that yet?
We haven't started it yet, and there's nothing set in stone.
Okay.
Before last year, we've used phosphorus a little bit. Or sorry, not phosphorus, but the pack early in
I
the
know,
season.
right. I realized I said that wrong.
But,
The pack, yeah.
but we've used it earlier in the season to help with settling. Right now, everything's kind of going okay, so we're gonna try and hold off as long as we can until we need to start that.
Okay. So ideally, we would want to have sample collection prior to when that starts.
Okay.
So targeting early March if possible.
Early March would be better because end of March it has to be online and
Right. I didn't know if you had how long the startup was for that system.
probably looking at the last 2 weeks of March if we can.
Okay.
So the earlier we can do it in March, the better.
Okay. I don't think that should be a problem.
Okay.
Okay, anybody have anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you guys have a good night, good week.
Thanks. Get ready for the next snowstorm.
Oh my goodness, don't give me another one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Bert, you have any consultant reports?
That's it. That's it for consultant reports.
Well, I guess the only thing I have would be, it gets tied in with Black Rock State Park too, so,
Yeah, I put that under correspondence.
okay.
Okay,
go ahead with your status report then, Bert.
Okay, so the process is running well. The primaries are settling better. There's a whole bunch of the crew came in or stayed late to do snow the past couple weeks, obviously, with all the storms. Rocky came back to work on February 1st. He's all clear and back to regular duty. And the big things at the plant was the drinking fountain broke in the operation buildings. We got a new one and installed it, and the new truck came in on the 12th. The final price for the truck delivered was $36,378. That pretty much sums up what happened at the plant.
Is that with the plow on it, Bert?
Yes, that's with the plow. Yep. Pump stations. Justin replaced the thermostat at Woodbridge Lane pump station for the heater, and that didn't seem to be the problem. So we called Ty and Bond, and they had the electrician come out and check it today. When he got there, of course, everything was working right, but he says there's a old relay that it's wired through for the generator, so that what happens is when the generator runs and the louvers for fresh air open to the building, it shuts the heater off. And that relay was put in 1993, so it's probably time to replace it. So when our electricians are there to do the new transfer switch, we'll have them look at replacing that relay. On February 10th, the transfer switch at Woodbridge Lane pump station did not transfer over. This is a ongoing issue we've had. They didn't plan for the new transfer switch in the upgrade, so Naugatuck Valley is going to replace it for us. And they have it. We just need to get them scheduled to do it. It can be switched manually if there is a power failure. It's just we have to go out there to do it. And also on the 10th, the transfer switch at Hickory Hill Pump Station stuck in the generator power side of it, even when they transferred back. So Walter and Greg went out and did a manual transfer back to street power, and it seems to be working okay now. That's it for pump stations. Collection systems. Today, the 16th, Jim and I had to check a possible blockage at 102 Lee Ave, and the problem is in the homeowner's lateral. So nothing on our end there. So correspondence. We've received the protocol for the inhibition study and for Unimetal, and Ty and Bond is reviewing that. We've also received the okay from the state to have Ty and Bond review the plans for Black Rock State Park. I sent the link of the plans to Lori. And we've also got that email about the draft of the agreement from State Park, but they haven't finalized anything yet. I did see an email from Eric from the state today that they were working on trying to get that all finalized. And the WPCA had to send a letter to Deep for Rich's retirement and for me, Bert, to take over as the new chief operator, and also a change for Jimmy in the assistant manager's position. And then the WPCA has also received a couple permit applications for the miscellaneous industrial users permits. One was from Connecticut DOT and the other from Modern Mazda. And I did leave some of that in new business to talk about because I don't know if everybody on the board is aware of what's going on there, so we could get to that in the new business part. Unimetal we covered earlier. Capital improvements. We put the quote in for the SCADA upgrade, and it looks like the town agreed on the capital improvement side that next time they bond a project, they will try and put the SCADA upgrade in the bond package. I put in numbers for a new garage, and the town didn't seem like that was high on the priority list, so I don't think we're going to get anywhere with that one. The FOG program, we've received all but 3 FOG maintenance records from the restaurants in town. So we'll try and get in touch with those last 3 and get that finished up. List of equipment needed. I have a meeting on Thursday with Tracy to discuss the phone system and possible replacement of the phone system at the plant when the town is replacing their system. And that would give us the ability to get a little better pricing on the phone system, number one. And number two, we would be able to just pick up our phone at the plant and call a 4-digit extension to reach somebody at the town hall, where Terry May would be able to transfer a call from her line to the plant without having to tell people that they have to hang up and call a different number. So I got to meet with with Tracy and a couple other people Thursday and see if we can get some better numbers on what's going on there and what we need to do. The primary effluent pump we talked about last week, the one they repaired has been running great. So, Black Rock State Park, renewable energy, there's nothing new. Black Rock State Park, we covered a little bit earlier. Ty and Bond is going to start to review the plans, and the WPCA is waiting for the final letter for the agreement from the state. New business. So
Bert,
whoop.
did you by any chance take a look at the files to be downloaded on that?
for the plans, I did go through the plans a little bit. It only showed the sewer line and pump station to their new building. It didn't show any of the other sewers in the park being hooked up yet.
Yeah, I just looked to see what files were in that Dropbox, and it looks like it probably use up a whole bunch of time just downloading all of them, you know?
Yeah, I could send you the ones that had the sanitary sewer stuff on it tomorrow, or give you the numbers of the ones that were, but there were a lot of in there because they had all the erosion control and the sewer, the water, and site plan and everything in there.
Okay. No, I'll go through them. I just didn't have time to do a whole bunch of downloads today.
Right. So with the new business, the WPCA is now, or WPC, I should say, is now responsible to issue and keep track of municipal industrial users in the town of Thomaston. That used to be the responsibility of the DEEP. So Jim and I have been working on putting together a list of all the municipal industrial users in town. The list that the state has and they sent out to us is extremely outdated and missing a lot of places because they only have 2 listed in Thomaston, even though we know there's, Richie had a list in the office from, I think it was 2002, and it had about 10 on it. So Jimmy and I have been working between the 2 lists trying to get everything straightened out, but we've also been in contact with a couple other towns around us, and also Lori brought it up with Ty and Bond, and she was going to give me some info from what the other towns around us were doing. But the other towns around us have set up a fee structure for the permits, to issue the permits, take the time to review them, and then if it's anything more than they can handle, it would go to their engineering companies. But you know, the state used to charge all these companies for the municipal or miscellaneous user permits, and I know this year it's kind of tough because it's thrown in our laps, and it's got to be we have to go through it by April, so we got to kind of get on it. And I know it, to put fees and stuff in, that involves a public hearing with us, right?
Yes.
But I feel that maybe for next year, we should look into it and set rates on what we could charge to review these permits and keep track of them all and file them. I mean, the state used to make money on it, and they're kind of giving it away and passing it down to us. So,
Well, how many do you feel you and Jim can handle?
we'll be able to do them all. I just have to find them all, because I know, like, Abby's Car Wash has the oil separator, and that would fall under that permit. And they're not listed on any state permits anywhere. So I just got to go, you know, we are working, the ones we know we have, we're going to get letters out to and take care of. The ones that I think we would need the engineers maybe to review would be some of the bigger ones, maybe Unimetal and the Arcades groundwater one. You know, some of these bigger users, just to make sure there's not stuff that's going to affect our plant. But most of the rest of them are just oil water separators and traps like that. So from what I've seen on the list that Rich had in his office anyways. But I definitely think that next year we should look into maybe charging at least a fee to apply for these permits and stuff.
Do we know if we have regulatory authority to charge fees? Did the state pass that ability down, or just the work?
I know the town of Plymouth is charging for their permits this year. I don't know. The state just kind of washed their hands of it, basically. They sent out a list and said, here, this is on you guys now. And I mean, I could definitely look into it a little more and make sure that we have that ability to.
Probably worth checking.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be giving the money back.
Right. Well, we don't want to do that either, but like I said, I know it was nothing that would happen this year because it, there's no way we could get it done by April this year.
Can you get a copy of the fee structure from Plymouth and
Yes,
maybe Torrent?
I have a copy in my office, so I could scan it and email it to you guys.
Okay,
And that's about it for that one. And so far, the budget's looking pretty good. We're, a couple line items we've used up a little bit, but we're all in all, we're in pretty good shape. We're at,
Did you want me to put up?
yeah, if you could.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
We're about 53% for the year, I believe.
Or is that 67% salaries and wages?
Yes. Yep. Education and training, we used a bunch on because we had a couple guys that had to do courses and stuff, so.
Looks like it's right on plan.
Yeah, we're pretty close to where we should be. We're, like I said, we're, the contracted maintenance at the plant where we've used a little bit of that, but that's got all the cost of the repairs to the SBRs in it. So. I think that's about it for me.
okay, did anybody have anything else?
I'm good.
Oh,
Okay, in that case, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session, inviting Stacy and Bert to stay at 7:26.
so move.
So for personnel matter.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? Joe, how do you vote?
aye.
Rich, how do you vote?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We're in executive session at 7:26.
Hang on one second. Recording is paused.